It's time for the KickAround, the Ticket's weekly show all about soccer. 2 hours of HSOs on the clubs, leagues, and tournaments of the world's game. It doesn't matter if you're new to the sport, don't worry. This is the Ticket. We're just kicking it around. Now, our very own yellow and red card. Andy Swift and Peter Welpton.
Lehmann finds Cernogorcevic. Oh, Reutel is in space. He can't give her that space, and they've been punished. Shamaili, the heroine, right to the death for the Swiss, and that might be enough for the hosts.
Knockout soccer is fun. Hi-ho, P1s, and welcome to the KickAround. Saturdays 2 to 4 here on Sports Radio 96.7 and 1310. The Ticket, where you, the good P1, sits around, talks soccer, and all that implies. Don't forget, you can find us on our groovy little website, thekickaround.com. Hi, I'm Peter. Steel yourself, because to my left, but to your right, as you stare with great anticipation and love into your broadcast device or streaming mechanism, it is the world's most interesting man returning. It is Andy Dalton Swift.
Wow. Thank you, Peter. Thank you for the tour of the studios.
Germany and Spain. You got Grenada, Ghana, Guinea, Norway, Turkey, Finland, Iceland, Nigeria, Ecuador.
I love all the Andy country drops.
That was nice. Thanks, EA.
No, that's me.
That was you?
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you, Peter.
I didn't want EA to feel like you were blaming him for something. I'll take the blame for it.
Not at all. Good to be back.
How about this one?
I'm still a virgin. Oh, yeah, nice.
Anyway, it is so good to have you back, Andy. It's been, 6 weeks?
I don't know if it's been that long.
Busy doing...
It seemed like an eternity, though, right? But I got to listen to the show every once in a while.
Yeah?
Well done, actually. Very good shows when I was gone.
Do you have a particular favorite
I was
moment?
like, should I even...
Yeah, you should come back. Yeah, the show's not the same without you, my friend.
Well, thank
we
you.
love
Thank you for
Tyler
saying that in my presence.
And
I know
Daniel and Lars.
I know what you're saying behind my back, but I appreciate you saying that in front of me. That's nice. I've heard.
Yeah, what have you heard?
Words around. Word gets around.
Wait, now I'm interested.
Yeah.
What exactly have you heard?
We'll talk about it off air. No.
I love it.
Thank you for allowing me to come back.
I hate you.
Very good. Well, Andy, we do have a lot to do today. I know it feels like the summer of soccer has hit a lull, but it hasn't.
Not at all, man. We have games being played right in front of our eyes.
Yeah, but you've also pointed out that neither of these two games actually mean anything.
Well, one does for first place.
I guess that makes a difference, yeah. But tomorrow, hey, why wait a year for a World Cup final when you've got one happening tomorrow?
Not the same, but okay. See, here we are trying to unconfuse people and point out the differences between Club World Cup and the real World Cup, and then you go say something like that.
The only difference is the difference between club and country.
You know that's not true. You're just saying all that to get a rise out of me. I'm here like we're 2 minutes into the show, and you're already trying to get me to go off. No, you know that's not true. Like, how did Chelsea qualify for the Club World Cup? What mechanism was used?
I don't remember.
Yeah, see, exactly.
I
like
don't remember.
Something from 3 years ago. Anyway.
Actually, that's a really good question. I'm trying to remember how did
Exactly.
Chelsea qualify?
Real
Do you
World
remember?
Cup? No, I don't even know. The mechanisms were all.
I believe it was winning the
Janky.
Champions League 3 years ago.
3 years ago, right?
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, disembodied voice.
So they qualified for it 3 years ago. Exact same team, right? Same players, same roster.
Different owner.
Right. That's my point. World Cup, the countries qualify like months before.
Right. All right.
Players don't change.
Okay. Well, we'll preview.
You did that on purpose. You just wanted to get me all
Wow.
going. All right.
If I had known there was a button that big, I would have pushed it a long time ago. So we've got the Club World Cup final to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
I also, because you're back, I'm dying to talk to you about all of the kind of effects this tournament is having on the collective fan base and general population.
General psyche.
Yes, about how it reflects poorly on the future of the World Cup here in the United States.
See, okay. Right.
Yeah, I want to get into that. We obviously need to talk about the U.S. men's national team.
Yeah. I'm sure you have your hot opinions about that. Your HSOs.
I do. I have a few. Yes, I have one in particular
Okay.
that I want to get into.
All right.
And we also learned this week of the passing of the great Gordon Jago, who obviously held high stature of importance here in the Dallas-Fort Worth soccer community. And Andy brought this up about I think you kind of even said it in passing when we were talking on the phone about him being on the Mount Rushmore of Dallas-Fort Worth soccer, and that led to the idea of, well, who exactly is on that Rushmore?
Yeah.
So we're going to do that game here a little bit later in the show. And, of course, we'll do America's favorite soccer segment, known as The Dribble. But first, it's the most important and serious of all the soccer segments. All right, since, Andy, you are the de facto Liverpool fan, I'll start with this, although on the run sheet it's second.
I know. Don't confuse me like this, man.
Don't be mad at me because I didn't put it first, but Liverpool apparently have announced that Diego Jota's number 20 will be retired.
Yeah, I mean, it's an extremely nice, thoughtful, meaningful gesture by the club. It is extremely rare, though, for soccer clubs to retire a number.
Well, maybe not in the United States, but globally, yes.
It is, and even in the U.S., it's rare. I mean, Bobby Ryan's is 19, wasn't retired. It's been worn in honor by Paxton, right?
Yeah, Paxton had to ask permission.
Yeah, and the reason is because roster sizes are smaller, and there's something sacred about the numbers 1 through 30, I guess, in soccer, right? You don't really use high numbers. So retiring a number like 20 is a big deal. But I think it's nice. It's great because how often, I mean, it's rare that a player peaking career-wise.
Is this the first time Liverpool has retired a number?
That I can think of. I can't imagine a number. We would know about it. Just, it would come up every once in a while.
When I saw the headline, I thought, oh, that's nice. But now that I'm thinking about it, I can't think of a number they've ever retired before. This would be, in fact, if this is the first time, that's a huge deal.
Yeah, no, it's for any soccer team to retire a number is a big deal. National teams can't do it because in competitions you have to wear 1 through 23, the roster size.
Is that still a rule?
Yeah, in FIFA competitions you have to wear 1 through 23.
For some I mean, I knew that, but for whatever reason in my head, I thought that had been.
Maybe it's been relaxed in certain competitions, but it's in the big ones. Okay. It's still the rule. Yep.
Well, you haven't had an opportunity to express your Diego
Jota
man, reflections.
It's easy. It sounds corny to say he was one of my favorite Liverpool players, but he was, and he always made a difference coming on. His personality was awesome. But it's tragic, man. It doesn't matter that he played for Liverpool.
No.
Or even that he was a great soccer player. He was 28, just married, 3 kids.
It's terrible. It's really awful.
It is.
I was talking about this with Lars last week, is that if there's any kind of like good side to it, is the fact that we got to watch the global community of the sport come together and celebrate him and talk about him. I thought that was really great. So but the funeral and all of the stuff that's happened since then has been tragically sad. And now that they're having to pick back up and just say, hey, we got to start playing again.
I know. Yeah,
it's got to be incredibly
very
difficult. I can't. That's got to be
And
difficult.
he was so liked in the room, right, in the clubhouse. So.
And we go from sad to just frustrating and angry. Man, I can't tell you how frustrated I am for my Crystal Palace friends.
Yeah. Man, it would suck right now to hear this news, right?
So they have UEFA has officially decided that Palace is not eligible for the Europa League spot they qualified for by winning FA Cup last year. And now all of this is tied to John Textor, the American who has ownership or had ownership in Crystal Palace, his ties to Lyon, the club in France, and then all the minutia and the tired head stuff around that ownership and Lyon temporarily getting relegated to the second division in France and then not getting relegated.
Yeah, the basic gist is that both teams qualified to the Europa League, but you can't have 2 teams with the same ownership group compete in the same competition per UEFA rules. But Lyon was going through a process where they were going to get kicked down to the second division because of financial issues they were having in France. And UEFA said, if you get kicked down to the second division, you don't qualify for the Europa League.
Right.
So they had to wait for that. In the meantime, John Textor is trying to sell his 40% stake in Crystal Palace to unwind from that and also help Crystal Palace avoid that issue if it came to that. It comes down to Lyon winning their appeal, so they don't get sent down to the second division. They're in Europa League, and because they finished higher in the French league standings than Crystal Palace did in the Premier League, they get precedence over Crystal Palace and who goes through. Now, Crystal Palace is appealing because they're saying their ownership groups aren't tied together like it appears. But I think UEFA is saying on paper they do, and so what are we going to do? What can we do about that?
So I guess that also then raises a bunch of questions about Man City or other clubs that have participated in other UEFA tournaments,
right,
where there was similar. But I this is always going to come down to the small print in the rules, and somehow those relationships differed than this Crystal Palace Lyon thing, and that's how they're going to loophole this for some. But why they would be so particular about this one versus how they weren't about others, I think is what drives people nuts.
And I just wonder if they're, because it's Crystal Palace and not Man City, UEFA feels, okay, this is one we can win, and But this is going to be a problem moving forward because all these conglomerates. What are you going to do? Root against one team in one country, so the other, you can't. If you're an ownership group that has multiple teams.
I realize that Palace is still going to get to play in the Conference League, and it's still playing in Europe. But
it's half
not
the money,
same.
It's half the revenue.
Right. And the prestige of playing in the Europa League is obviously considerably greater. But I would also say it just accelerates Palace's chances of winning a European trophy next year.
Yeah.
Like everybody's going to forget. If Palace goes on to win that trophy, by and large, everybody will go, oh, well, but we forgot about the whole thing.
And they'll have qualified for the Europa League.
Right, exactly. Sure. And then they may be back in that same awful. The transfer window has heated up. I'm trying to find out.
Who's your A-plus team so far?
It's Liverpool. Yes,
it is. Yes, it is.
Have you seen the shocking news that has come out in the last couple of hours about one Christian Pulisic?
No.
Have you not seen this?
No, I have not.
Oh, my gosh, Andy, you really...
I should keep up with soccer news.
Yes.
This came out this morning?
Rudy Galletti is reporting that U.S. men's national team winger and AC Milan player Christian Pulisic has been identified by Al Nasser in the Saudi League as a possible option for strengthening their attack.
So, yeah. You see Pulisic going to Saudi Arabia?
Could you imagine him packing up and accepting a $1 deal to go play in Saudi Arabia on the eve of the World Cup?
What would what would that do to
Pochettino?
Well, not Pochettino, to the U.S. soccer, what do you call it, that echo world, that social media.
Yes, Twitterati, yes.
Yeah,
US
Twitterati.
Well, it's just the U.S. soccer culture in general,
the
yes.
head would explode.
Between that and the odds of Giovanni Reyna coming back to Major League Soccer here in the next month or so, that would cause everybody to freak out.
Reyna coming back is a sound move.
It would totally make sense. Yeah. Yes, Andy, Liverpool is having a fine window. You should be very proud of said window.
Thank you. I'll take
Malik
credit.
Tillman has officially joined Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah.
That's a huge deal. That's a great one.
Yeah, good move for him, for sure.
Anthony Alanga has moved to Newcastle from Forest.
Okay. That's
the
official
Morgan
now?
That one. The Morgan's Gibbs Wright one is the one that's been frozen between them and Spurs.
Okay.
Because now Forest is saying that they're making some accusations or asking questions about how he was originally approached. So that's been frozen.
Cheating.
Yes. Kudus has been bought from West Ham to Spurs.
Yeah.
That'll be an interesting acquisition.
Was in the works for a bit.
Manchester United has a new problem. Mr. Onana has pulled his hammy so bad that he probably will miss the start of the season. So now United may have to go out and purchase a goalkeeper.
So that's the big problem they have, right?
No,
That's
that is a new problem.
Yeah, I know.
Not a new problem.
That's funny.
And the curious one that I'll get into real quickly is John Duran, who, remember, left a really good run at Aston Villa to go to Saudi,
Yeah.
and now he is going to join Fenerbahce and Jose Mourinho.
Oh, that'll be a good combo, won't it?
I'm telling you, that guy has got all kinds of loose wires. Do you remember all the stories we used to hear about just how difficult he was when he was in Chicago?
Yeah. So the Saudis had enough of him?
I guess. Like, why would they? I mean, I don't follow that. I don't know if he scored a bunch or what, or maybe
if
they
he's
just
a wild
said,
guy,
please
that,
get out.
Culturally, he probably didn't fit in.
Maybe, yeah.
Wow.
Okay, but I just want to make sure. So you're happy with Liverpool's transfer windows?
Dude, they doled out the dough, man.
So okay, you're not bothered by the $175 million. You don't care about that.
Trophy's in the case now. It's all gravy, man. House money. We're good.
Is there any other positions of need?
Well, you got to replace one Trent Alexander-Arnold, but
Well, you did. You got Frimpong.
yeah, but we'll see because Robertson might be an issue too.
You got Kirkez.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Very good. All right. Well, that's it for headlines, transfer talk, all that. We'll keep everybody posted if we see any more Christian Pulisic to Saudi Arabia news. We'll do that. When we come back, like I said, why wait for a World Cup final next year when you've got one happening tomorrow next year on the KickAround? The U.S. men's national team run at the Gold Cup obviously is now over. Andy and I haven't had a chance to discuss it on the show, so we'll do that here maybe about 30 minutes from now, so stay tuned for that. But first, tomorrow is the big day we've waited our lifetime for, Andy. It is the World Cup final of the club. I keep getting this wrong. It is the Club World Cup final.
I do it all the time too.
Yes. How excited are we, Andy?
I call it
That's
the World Club
annoying.
Cup.
Yeah, I actually was pretty good about saying Club World Cup until I
you spoke
talked to
to
you on
me,
the
yeah.
phone yesterday, and then you got me all backwards with it. Yes.
Sorry about that.
So
I'm rusty.
This is Infantino's big day tomorrow.
Yeah, look, well, I mean,
Chelsea and PSG.
Yeah, I think this segment we're going to just preview the game and talk
Yes.
about the competition itself, and then we can talk next segment about the concept of the tournament in general. But I have not enjoyed the tournament. I mean, it's high-level soccer for the most part, and it's been fun to watch. I'm disappointed the final is Chelsea-PSG, only that I wish it would have been, a European team versus a non-European team. Whoever that non-European team would have been, doesn't matter. Whoever was the best one.
LAFC.
Okay. Maybe one of the Brazilian teams. I think that would have been.
Which Brazilian team would you have preferred?
I think Palmeiras Flamengo would have been my preference, of course.
Yes,
yeah, but
yes.
Palmeiras I think showed the best. But it wasn't meant to be, and I think Chelsea had a good tournament for the most part, and PSG, there's no doubt. I think we'll watch tomorrow, but there's no doubt they're the best team in the world.
Will it surprise anybody that the reigning Champions League champions of Europe are also in the same season the world's best club?
Not at all, particularly when this tournament was played a month after that final, after the Champions League final. I mean, it's the same team, and they're just as good, and they've torn through opposition. Man, that game against Madrid,
It was
3-0 after 29 minutes.
They mowed them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't a game after that.
Somebody ran a clip yesterday or the day before just focusing on PSG's press and how they are just laser focused on pushing, literally standing on the 18 for goal kicks, and as soon as the ball is touched, they are in there in somebody's face, forcing long balls or errors as they did multiple times.
That's one thing they do well.
That's just
because
one
they
thing.
do so many things well.
Yeah. They are, and again, we always have to balance this with the fact that up until this run, PSG has been that club that by and large everybody loves to hate because of the ownership thing.
Right. And the fact that they had Messi and Neymar and Mbappe.
And it was such a bad scene. Everybody loved to make fun of PSG. Right.
By the way, Mbappe, who left, last season, saw them win the Champions League, and now he had to play them, and then they just dumped on him. What's going through? I mean, he's still getting paid, so it doesn't.
Man, PSG has gotten to go on a up yours tour through this. They got to stick it to Messi.
Yes.
They got to stick it to Mbappe. They've been
Neymar. They're going to just ask for a friendly against Santos so they can play Neymar.
Yeah, and I do think it's been tough for a lot of people that have been super critical of PSG and the ownership situation and everything. It's like, oh, crap, I have to – but this team is so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
They are really enjoyable.
Good coach.
Good
right?
coach. Great story.
Yes.
He's a great story.
Yeah. Says the right things.
Yes. Do you even remember when Vitinha was playing for Wolves?
I remember, but no.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and he's he's top 5 for Ballon d'Or right now.
It's unbelievable. It's so good.
But it's like Dembele. I mean, okay. Anyway, so yeah.
I will say this, and while I believe that PSG is. I don't know what the odds running in Vegas are right now on this. I assume they're runaway favorites for this final tomorrow.
Well, it's still Chelsea.
But here's what I wanted to say. The thing about Chelsea's run through this tournament is it has I am interested to see how much of this is a true preview of the Chelsea we're going to get in the upcoming Premier League season. Because there are things that they have been doing in this tournament that may affect how I predict them in the upcoming season.
Before the tournament, right after last year, the Premier League season, heading into next year, had we not seen them play this tournament, where were they in your head?
If you don't recall, when the run into the final end of the season was, I had Aston Villa tipped over them to qualify for Champions League, and it didn't work out that way.
Mm-hmm.
So Maresca has the fact that Maresca is even still running this team at this point, based on the kind of the mood about him in the final third of the Premier League season last year, is an interesting turn of fortune for him. But I also think the guy actually may really know what he's doing, and he's put a really interesting. He's got those guys playing really well.
Yeah, and he's getting some additions.
Including
a guy that scored on him.
Yeah, and now tomorrow. We don't know if Caicedo's going to play. He's got that ankle injury, and if they don't have him tomorrow, that's going to be a big miss for them.
Do you think PSG runs riot on him, or do you think it's a close game?
I'm still a little suspect about Chelsea in the back. I'm definitely suspect of Bob Sanchez, the goalkeeper, as their option. Question for you real quick. Has anybody else wondered how Chelsea got away with adding a player to their roster mid-tournament? Pedro?
I didn't know that happened.
Yes.
I wasn't following that closely to know that happened.
Pedro scored 2 goals in the semifinal.
He wasn't on the.
No, they just bought him from.
From
Brighton.
Right, exactly.
So, you can't add a player in the middle of the World Cup, can you?
Was he on the provisional list?
I don't.
And then somebody got injured, and they replaced him.
No, he got added to the. The best I understand it is they said we're buying this guy, and now he's live on the roster.
It's a new kind of tournament. This is why we have dedicated a whole segment to talk about things like that.
That seems really crappy for Flamengo that they have to play an opponent who a week prior didn't
Fluminense.
have Fluminense.
Yeah.
Didn't
Don't
have
confuse these two teams, Peter. You did it on a past show.
Sorry.
All three of you guys.
Daniel did. I didn't.
Okay, but then now it's worn off on you. Flamengo and Fluminense is like Yankees, Red Sox, Cowboys, Redskins.
Sorry.
You do not confuse the two.
Sorry, Mr. Andy.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Back to you.
Don't hit me.
Liverpool, Man United. Imagine if you just keep...
Like a dog in the corner flinching because his dad kicks at him for screwing up Fluminense.
Right. But yes, that was not that's weird. I didn't realize that, but that makes sense because they didn't acquire him till.
They gotta fix that for the next time they do this tournament.
I think Infantino will do what he wants with this tournament.
You
Peter,
think?
And this is why it's different than the World Cup.
Okay. By the way, I know everybody. We're going to talk about temperatures and everything.
Yeah. We'll hit that.
Do you know what the forecast?
We'll drill deep on the temperature thing.
Do you know what the forecast in New Jersey is tomorrow at 3:00?
I know
Don't
because
look.
you have it written here. I had
Oh.
looked prior.
Oh,
I had
yes.
already looked.
Because there's so many people complaining online about the fact that they're playing this game at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
in the middle of July in New Jersey, and yet the forecast tomorrow is partly sunny and 83 degrees.
Yeah, 83 is what I read too. You have 82 here. That's why I didn't say. But yes, which is for us, it'd be like,
That would
nice.
be amazing.
Yeah.
Are we really? I mean, are people going to complain about 83 degrees or 82 degrees?
Maybe it's a humid 83 degrees. I mean, it's there's certainly a difference between how the Europeans have perceived the heat.
But that's part of a World Cup.
And
That's part of a
it
tournament,
is.
is the local culture, which includes the atmosphere and environment, right?
Yes, but it is very hot now, and it's getting a little warmer. But yes,
You know what, Andy? It was hot in 1994, too.
it was. And in '86 in Mexico, it was hot also. And in Spain in '82, also hot.
You remember, can you imagine how hot it's going to be in 2030 in Portugal, Spain, and Morocco?
Hot.
It's going to be effing hot.
Yes.
Yes. All right. We'll talk about that. All right. Tomorrow,
What about 34 Saudi Arabia?
well, they'll play it in the winter. It'll be lovely, and all the stadiums will
hold
be
that
air
thought.
conditioned. Okay.
Hold that
all right. So tomorrow, 2:00 locally. Is the game on more than just DAZN? Because I know they didn't air all the games. I'll have to look that up.
I don't know, man.
I can't remember if the game tomorrow is on more than. Here, let me look real quick. Everybody stand by while I look it up. In
I'm
my
looking it up so you
FOTMOB
can
app.
riff.
It is on TBS.
Okay.
And DAZN and Univision.
TBS. Is
So
that
you don't have to go download the app for free. You can just watch it on TBS or
247
Univision.
DirecTV, something like
Yes,
that, right?
nobody has DirecTV
Oh,
anymore,
okay.
Andy.
Sorry.
What are you doing?
So how do you get TBS?
I have DirecTV streaming.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So there you go.
On the phone.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, you got a prediction?
I think PSG wins, and I do think they pull away late, and it is something like 3-0, 3-1.
Okay.
Yeah.
3-0, 3-1.
It could be close, 1-1 till the 70th. Then PSG gets a goal, and then they get another one because Chelsea's pushing.
Yeah. I guess it would depend. If Casado's playing, I think it is closer. If Casado is not playing, I think the game gets a little further away from them.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. But PSG would be worthy champions
Yeah,
for sure. That would be
I
a
don't
good-
think anybody can complain if PSG ends up being the champion of this tournament, right?
All right. No, absolutely not. Let's take a break. When we come back, let's get into how does this Club World Cup change or affect our perceptions about what's going to happen next summer in the actual World Cup? And we'll do that next here on the KickAround. All right. Without it sounding like a too cliche of a radio bit, Andy and I are going to play Who's on the Dallas-Fort Worth Soccer Mount Rushmore. And there's a good reason why, and we'll talk about that here coming up in about 15 minutes on Ye Old KickAround. All right, we were talking about the Club World Cup final, which takes place tomorrow, Chelsea and PSG. But we are now on the tail end of this brand new Infantino passion project, which has been foisted upon us as the collective soccer
Revenue generator
revenue
mechanism.
Yes,
There
it's
you
a
go.
new revenue
Mhm.
generator. And I first off, because you've been busy doing your own Gold Cup stuff, I am curious how much you've consumed of it.
Actually, quite a bit in bits and parts. Few whole games, but lots of
Highlight packages and things like that.
highlight packages and games in 20, 30-minute spurts, as I can watch a game here and there. It's on in the background, that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, it's similar. I ended up watching way less of it than I thought I was going to watch.
Okay, and so why is that?
I don't know. I mean,
The time of day that it's played?
No, because that's optimum. Like I can pop it, I can set it on my iPad next
And you
to my
had
computer.
DAZN. You've signed up for the 1
it's
month free.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, whatever the
Yeah, it was
deal
a
was.
30-day trial period.
So I don't know why I didn't get into it much. There were times I watched it and thought, okay, this is better than I thought it would be, and then obviously there were crummy games,
Right.
Now, the thing that I want to ask you real quickly, I don't want to get too deep in that. I feel like we could do an entire segment about this at some other time. But I think one of the things that's been interesting from an American fan base point of view is the reaction to the Brazilian teams. and their style of play, how they play, how good they are, how up for this they've been. And because you're a guy that grew up in Brazil, you understand all the, Flamengo's your favorite team in the whole world, even above Liverpool.
Right.
I am curious, like, your perspective of their performance in this tournament, and what would you want the average American soccer fan to know about club soccer in Brazil?
Well, club soccer in Brazil has declined ever since the Premier League and other European leagues have ascended over the last 34 years because the best players leave Brazil to make more money in Europe. That's a fact. But a lot of Brazilian teams take these, but the quality of and the level and the standard of the Brazilian league is still pretty high because there's a lot of talent in Brazil, right? And so they keep producing a little bit like Argentina with a lot less chaos that you get from the Argentine First Division, and that's another conversation. But Brazilian teams have always, and the Brazilian culture, Brazilian soccer has always taken competing in the Club World Cup of whatever edition it is, whether it's a one-off between the South American champion, European champion, or the latest edition where 6 teams competed in Asia somewhere, or this. Brazilian teams have always placed a lot of importance on winning the Club World Championship. In fact, there are teams like Flamengo that they put the star above the badge. They don't put how many league cups they've won or league champ.
It's world champions.
It's world champions. So Flamengo has a star for the one world. Other teams have a couple on. That's how important a tournament like this is for them.
And so is that a reflection? And this may come off wrong. Not an inferiority complex, but just a sense of, hey, we're a big deal in this sport.
Brazil, yeah, it is from that. We are the best in the world, right? 5 World Cups. I mean, that's how they see themselves, the best in soccer. And as a country, they go into every World Cup, national team World Cup, expecting to win the World Cup. I mean, few countries can say that, right? Every World Cup, that is the expectation. And so this is just a tier below that. They have an expectation that they should be in the conversation for best club team in the world, with the reality that it's not something that comes easy these days because of the depth of the roster.
All right. So are you surprised?
Compared to European teams.
Are you surprised or not surprised about how the Brazilian teams did in the tournament?
I think it played out like we spoke before the tournament started, and you asked me, how do you think it'll play out? And I said, I think the Brazilians and the Argentinian teams, and I expected a little bit better from the Argentines, but they are affected by the hot climate much more than the Brazilians are. Brazilians are more used to it. It's a colder climate in Argentina, so the heat affects them more like the Europeans. The Brazilians acclimate to it easier. But what I said was, I think they're going to do well early, but as we get into the knockout rounds, depth will take over, and that's where the European teams are going to rise, and that's exactly what happened.
Yep, for sure. All right, so how do you feel, because a lot of what's happening over the course of the last 4 or 5 weeks is now being reflected in the general kind of populace, whether it be media or fans, in predicting how the World Cup is going to take place next year.
But it's
like attendances,
right? It's apples and oranges a little bit too, right? Because first of all, the teams that qualified into this tournament, and we were speaking off air, like Chelsea, they had to qualify. They qualified by winning Champions League 3 years ago, right? I mean, it's not even the same team, same ownership group. A national team that qualifies to the World Cup, it's that team, that same team that qualified, same players. Those are the ones competing in that tournament. So you do get teams that really should be playing in that competition. The other thing, too, is when it comes to attendance, it is much different when 2 nations go at it, and the fandom and the following that those nations have compared to a club team, because a club team is just one team that plays in that country. So when Palmeiras plays, name another team, Chelsea, right? You're going to get fans of those 2 teams, but you're going to get very few neutrals that will go. But if you get England playing against Brazil, you're going to get a lot of neutrals interested in that game because it's England and Brazil, right? The national teams.
Right.
And so I think there's a little bit of difference with that, and the club teams are just very niche-y. So you're not going to fill the stadiums necessarily for just one-off games like you will for national team games. And I wonder if they should have played these games in smaller stadiums.
Well, I would think if they go back and kind of review the entire deal, I would like to think they'll go, we should have played a lot of these games in all of these wonderful MLS soccer-specific grounds.
They would have sold them out.
They would have sold them out. They would have been better fields. All of those things would have been a better situation.
But they had to test, I guess, some venues as well because
Sure.
they're going to be used in the
we
World
didn't have
Cup.
the Confederations Cup,
Yeah,
which is
right.
typically the traditional
How you
testing
test.
grounds for
Right.
the World Cup. We didn't get that this time.
Yeah, exactly. Now, having said all that, I think they averaged 40,000 a game or 30,000. I don't know.
I don't know what the number.
It was to me. It was very healthy. Even like people are like, you saw a lot of empty seats. Yeah, if it's an 80,000 seat stadium and you have 40,000 in there to watch Fluminense, who doesn't have a huge following, by the way, compared to Flamengo or São Paulo or other big teams in Brazil, to watch Fluminense play a team from Saudi Arabia or to play LAFC in Atlanta, 40,000 and 80,000 seat stadium, that's pretty good.
So,
Even though every other seat is empty, right?
Yeah, and again, the World Cup is just the World Cup. It's a bigger deal. It could be all 100,000 seat stadiums around the United States, Canada, and Mexico, and they're going to be full because it's the World Cup.
Yeah, or they're going to be sold out. Maybe they're not all going to be full. People will buy packages, and they're not going to go watch Tunisia play Romania or something with the same interest. But it's still a World Cup, and when you step in a World Cup venue, World Cup, the real World Cup,
Right.
it's unlike any other. The energy you feel is unlike any other soccer match or sporting event because it's so unique. It's history. It's just different.
All right. The other big talking point that has come out of this is the weather. And the lightning delays, which is there's a big change between what's happening now and what happened back in 1994, is how we as a society in the United States has chosen to treat and take seriously lightning. So all of the weather delays that are not tied to rain but are tied specifically to lightning delays, like the Chelsea game, for example, is just a byproduct of how we treat lightning. And I'm still confused if whether or not other countries, A, don't have lightning, or B, just don't have 30-minute delays,
Right.
That kind of on a running clock like we
Yeah,
do.
now there's the rolling electrical storms. They're not unique to the U.S. or parts of the U.S., but they're not as common in some parts of the world.
Right.
They're not as common in Europe, certainly, right?
Well, I would even say that the problem is I think there's this perception that we have like this Frankenstein's castle kind of storms all the time. The delay at the Chelsea game where it got delayed for quite a while, that was literally like an intermittent storm with one or two lightning strikes, but that's all it takes for these days for us to postpone events.
And the weather patterns are changing. It is getting warmer, and I think we have to talk about start times, kickoff times. And
That's
I think
the big question.
I think those will be adjusted because there's so much feedback. But moving forward, and let's not forget, too, that in 94, like we had games in Dallas. They were 100 degrees outside.
Yes.
AT&T Stadium is covered, so we won't have that
Am I
issue.
incorrect in saying the only indoor stadium in the 94 World Cup was Detroit?
Right, yeah.
Everything else was open air.
First time in history that they had it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we all talk about the fact that a lot of those games were hot back then. It wasn't just Dallas. There were other places. But it was also hot in Brazil. Wasn't it
Right.
hot?
Right. We've had hot World Cups. Most of them, actually. Not France, not Germany, but the World Cup in Spain. There were a lot of venues where it got really hot. But it is getting worse. So moving forward, and now we have this World Cup where it's going to be hot next summer. But then you have, like you said, Spain, Portugal, Morocco, and then you have Saudi Arabia. Are we going to get to the point, and if global warming continues to be the way it is, to where they permanently move it to winter?
Maybe, or they just play all the games at night.
All games start at night, and
well, the problem with playing games here in the States at night is the broadcast times back to the Eastern Hemisphere, because
Europe.
7:00 in New York is midnight London, 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. Germany time.
Right.
So that's going to create that problem. But I also realize that when the Japan
Yeah, we
Korea
were watching
tournament, we
games
were
at 4 in
watching-
the morning.
So
yeah.
I think that's the solution. Plus, they can also play the day games in the indoor stadiums, and the night games can go to the outdoor stadiums.
Yeah,
by and
something
large.
like that too.
Yes.
Yeah, and we'll have 4, I think, covered stadiums, right?
I think it's 4. Yeah,
ours being
4.
one of them here
Yes,
in Dallas. Yeah.
yes, and there's 9 games at that stadium.
Yeah.
Real highs and lows. So, does the Musiala injury reflect a problem in this design of having an extra tournament like this? Because now he's done for the season.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that can
Does that
happen in
just
a World Cup. You
Okay.
know, yeah.
But then you get something like Man City losing to Al Hilal,
Yeah.
and the big kind of, I mean, that's the biggest game in that,
Yeah. Teams, countries.
not just the
yeah.
team, but that country's sporting
Yeah.
history is to beat Man City in
Well,
a knockout game.
They beat Argentina in a World Cup. I think that was
Oh,
probably
okay.
a big deal.
Is that bigger?
Yes. Yeah, we just said how the World Cup is a much bigger deal. Yes. Saudi Arabia, the nation, beating Messi's Argentina, who eventually won the tournament. That is a much bigger deal. Yes. But yeah, it was an important moment for the club and the country, and they were the better team that game anyway. But that's the difference with the club. You know, you sign players, and that's the purity of the national team. It's like players from that country. You can't go sign, Argentina can't go sign a young French left back because they have issues at left back, right? You just have to do with what you do with the player pool you have. So I think that's part of the romance of the real World Cup. Now, one thing I hated that I hope they don't.
Player introductions?
Yes.
I've been waiting to ask you about this.
Yes. You hated it too, right?
Well, it was
Please.
so stupid.
Let me say why. Look.
The time waste.
In our culture, we're used to players one by one being introduced and all that. But what is one of the best moments, like when you go watch a game, you get there early, you want to get there early, you want to make sure you don't get there right on time because you want to get in the stadium for what?
The player walkout
For
and the
walkout.
photographs.
For
Yes.
the walkout. The moment you start hearing whatever anthem it is, it's the FIFA anthem or the Champions League, whatever, even your club team, when you start hearing the music and then the players walk out and you start feeling that energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was gone.
Yeah, it was too NBA-ish.
Yeah, no, it's just not.
The NBA treatment doesn't work for World Soccer.
I hope they don't do that in the World Cup.
Are you giving the Club World Cup a grade, Andy?
Overall, just including just having it. Yeah, I'll give it a grade. I'll give it a B+.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is that higher than you think you would have given it at the beginning of the
the
tournament?
But before it started, I was on the record saying I'm looking forward to it. I will watch it.
Yeah.
Even though it's a little bit gimmicky.
A little bit.
Okay, a lot. Yeah, I don't, it's like some teams qualified 3 years ago. Others, we don't even know how they qualified. Others deserve to be there. That's all. But, it was.
Have you bought your miniature replica Club World Cup trophy?
No, I have not done that. I just, my fear was that is this tournament going to make people apprehensive about what's coming
I
next
think
year?
that's my point, is that all I hear people talking about is, oh, no, the World Cup's going to suck next year because of this, and this. And I'm like, okay.
Apples and oranges, but the weather issue is legit. And it's not just this World Cup. It's moving forward.
I do, but the point is, as somebody that's kind of a nerd about the weather, the reality is the difference. I know there's climate change. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying the differences in summertime temperatures between now and 1994 is literally like 2 degrees.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're playing. We played the 94 tournament at 90 degrees and it's going to be 115.
Yeah, right, no.
It's literally the difference between 90 and 92 degrees.
Right. Yeah.
And we're also playing in a lot more indoor stadiums.
What we forget, like in '86 when it was in Mexico, '94 in the U.S., the Europeans were just as complaining about.
But there's
all
an
this.
entire pair of generations that weren't around in '94, and they don't remember this, and that's what old farts like you and I are here for.
Yeah, there we go. Just to call them out, right?
We didn't even get water breaks in the '94 World Cup.
And '94 here, there are 2 games that were played that were the Heat that played a major role. 2-0, Spain was leading South Korea at halftime. That game ended 2-2 because the Spaniards just wilted. Then Germany was winning 3-0 at halftime and finished 3-2. Again, same thing. They were. Well, I think Klinsmann said, had they played a few more minutes, that the Koreans probably would have turned the game around.
All right. Well, very good. Successful Club World Cup, according to Andy. When we come back, let's get into recapping the U.S. men's national team and looking forward for what's next for the Yanks here on the Kick-Around. The women's Euros are ongoing. 2 games is the third game of the group stage. Sweden is ahead of Germany 3-1. Germany got the double jeopardy red card just before the halftime. Player thrown out for literally stopping the ball going in the net with her hands. That's a no. That's against the rules.
Yes.
Laws of the game.
And you're just banking on the person missing the penalty kick, right? That being worth it.
Yeah. And then the other one is Poland-Denmark. Now, Poland has been dominating this game up 2-0, but Denmark just got a goal because a shot went right through the Polish keeper's hands.
Unlucky there.
So now it's 2-1.
In a game that matters.
In a nothing. But it does to those countries, Andy.
Yes, of course.
It absolutely
Pride.
Yes, and just like the U.S. men's national team matters to the United States. Have you, first off, did you know that the Men in Blazers were here in town a couple weeks ago with Clint Dempsey?
Yeah, I got wind of that. Yeah.
And they held it at the Londoner. That seems like the most impossibly small place for something like that.
Yeah. Do you follow Men in Blazers? I mean, it's
not
been
much.
a while.
I mean, a little bit. Not as much as I used to.
It's kind of gotten to be.
But I was thinking, if you go on a tour like that,
to me.
why would you have it at a pub and not like at a proper?
Maybe they wanted to sell it out and that's make it more intimate.
Yeah. Well, anyway, they were doing another. I guess they're doing a tour of some sort, and they did another appearance. And it's the main guy. I always forget his name, and Clint Dempsey, who now have their own podcast together.
Yeah, right.
And they invited Jurgen Klinsmann on stage,
ex-boss of the national team.
They asked Jurgen if the current ongoing drama between Pochettino and Christian Pulisic in any way was reflective of his time with Landon Donovan. This is what he said.
No, I never had a problem with Landon until I told him that he's not going to Brazil. but it was a purely footballing decision because we felt, all the coaches, that his time was kind of over and more talent was there and the better player were going to Brazil. So it was purely out of technical reasons and nothing else.
So I play this because I was reflecting on the fact that I feel like we can't have an iteration of the U.S. men's national team without the coach fighting with one of his star players.
That is just part of the drama that goes.
The history goes all the way back to Steve Sampson and John Harkes.
Yeah. It's not unlike a lot of real soccer nations and drama that national teams go through. It really is.
Maybe that's what makes us a true soccer nation.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. By the way, Landon could have helped in other ways, leadership, locker room. But,
Yes. I don't want to get it.
No, let's not. Let's not. No, I know. The issue here, though, is a little different because this is supposed to be your star player who you very much are counting on.
Who's in his prime.
And you're going to have – you're going to field a team playing a World Cup in your own country, so the stakes are much higher. It's a little bit more worrisome, I think, what we have going on now.
All right. So setting that particular issue aside for a second, knowing what you know now about Pochettino's performance in this particular Gold Cup with this particular group of players.
By the way, they did play at AT&T. I had a chance to meet him as part of the gig, and very nice guy, very accessible. His coaching staff.
Are you non-disclosure here?
No, I'm just saying he comes. You know how you see him on TV? Is he really like that off camera? And he is. He's very, very down to earth.
Very nice guy.
I mean, it's Pochettino. He's coached Premier League, and
is there an Andy Swift?
He coached PSG.
Is there an Andy Swift, Mauricio Pochettino photo you've not showed me yet?
No, not at all. So I just wanted to say that, because he's a likable guy. So for him to get in a little,
he didn't big time you.
No, for him to get in a squabble. Squabble, is that a word?
Yeah, that's a word.
With his star player, that's why it's worrisome. But ultimately, what side do you take here?
Oh, I take Pochettino's side all day and night. I want to set that aside for a second because that gets into the question about what happened in this particular tournament with him. I am of the belief, and I know people get annoyed when I go to the body language thing, and that's fine, but I watch Pochettino in this tournament versus what happened last with the Nations League tournament when he had all of his best players and they played so poorly and had no energy and all seemed like they wanted to be anywhere else other than there. And he looked incredibly annoyed and frustrated during that tournament. Here, I thought he looked way more engaged and enthusiastic and upbeat. And you asked me if I had a prediction or a hot sports opinion about this. My hot sports opinion, and maybe it's not that hot, is that between now and when, in the next 10 months, when the roster for the World Cup is announced, I think Pochettino is going to drop not one, not two, but probably 3 significant roster bombs that is going to set our collective fan base on fire.
Yeah, I don't disagree, and I was thinking the same thing. I think the roster composition of the World Cup team is going to be a little, not drastically different, but it's going to have some surprises.
Oh,
but
yes.
Yeah, not a lot of surprises, but some surprises. And by surprises, I don't mean like Luna makes it. That's not going to be a surprise, right?
No, I think there is going
Tillman. Those aren't surprises.
No, there is going to be 1 or 2 significant names not on the roster.
Yeah, that's what you mean.
Yes,
like who gets left out.
He's going to have a Landon Donovan type moment.
Yeah,
yes.
Right. Yeah, I don't. And the next 8 friendlies, which is all they have to prepare for the World Cup, less than a year away, 8 friendlies, are going to be telling how he approaches those also.
So I was somewhere on social media, I saw the discussion happening where somebody asked Carly Lloyd if she was managing the team for these upcoming games in September, would she invite, I guess it was Yunus Musa and Christian Pulisic, the 2 players who are not in the tournament because they asked out, not because
of injury
or other obligations like Weston and Juve. Right. So Carly Lloyd said, look, for these games, I wouldn't invite them back.
Yeah.
They got to earn their way back.
I saw that.
Do you agree with that?
I like the thought. This is why it's so hard. You only have 8 games.
Right.
And so you got to get
you don't have time to make a point.
And Musa right with ball, right? Not that they don't know what they're doing, but you know what I'm saying? This thing has to gel at some point. Now, it's not unheard of that it just all comes together a month out and it works. And so much of the success a national team has in a World Cup is dependent on what, Peter?
Depth.
Yes, that's how far they go.
Mm-hmm.
But how they do at first is so dependent on the draw and what group, who they end up playing those 3 games. There's so much. There are so many variables, but you still have to have some things in place and right, and that is you have to have your keeper has to be solid. You have to have a center back pairing that has played together more than just a couple games before the tournament.
We have neither of those.
Right? And your most important player has to have his...
you know what the third one is?
What?
You need a striker in form.
Yeah, which...
We don't have one of those either. Yes. So I want to repeat something, because if there's a lesson that we can impart on people is the only time you're ever really going to be able to predict how good pretty much any team is going to do in the World Cup can only happen after the draw is announced.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the U.S. has a better position this time because they will be in the top pot. There'll be a top seed in their group,
right?
Which means they won't get paired against another
top seed.
Against
a power.
So there is some benefit there to it, but that doesn't mean they won't get some really significant tough games against...
Holland, for example, can be in your group. They're not considered a power because they haven't won a World Cup, right? So they're not going to be in the top tier, although nowadays they do it on FIFA rankings. But you're going to get the 8th best team in the world as a possibility of being in your group.
At the end of the day, until the draw happens, nobody can accurately predict how the U.S. will do in the tournament, and that is in December, correct?
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that would be the side effect. those are the big positions of question. Moving on to that topic: goalkeeper, center back, and I think striker.
And
still a
striker,
big one.
you're right. Yes, those
Agamang,
two.
I just think is too green. I was not super impressed by him. Diego Luna had a fantastic tournament. I thought Malik Tillman was outstanding. That guy is a truck.
I think those are the two names that we get.
Well, Chris Richards too.
Yeah. Well, to me, he's not. He wasn't. I mean, I would think he was part of the roster anyway, right?
Well, I always thought he was going to be on it, but I thought his performance in the tournament was notable.
So
was very notable.
Yeah.
They've got a couple of games coming up in September. The problem is, as Andy says, none of them are competitive games. They're all friendlies, and we just kind of have to. But you know what? Pochettino knew this job was what it was. He knew the job was dangerous when he took it. This is what it is. I still have some questions about tactics and how he does certain things with the group.
Yeah.
But I think something to keep your eye on is how much he seemed to enjoy a group of guys who may not be as good, but seemed way more engaged.
That were fighting for the badge.
And were, spirited.
I have to take that back, fighting for the badge, because those guys that weren't there, it's not like they don't fight for the badge when they boot up, right? They do.
It's just different.
But there's a different kind of aggressiveness.
How are you feeling about Jesse Marsh in Canada?
Oh, man, that's...
Jesse Marsh out?
Yeah.
Marsh out?
Well,
is that where you're at?
I there's so many things I like about him, but there's other things that are starting to get on my nerves a little bit. Just like focus on it, because they have a good team. Canada has a good team. They don't have a lot of depth, but they have a good team. But let's not blow it.
Okay, said Canadian.
It's real quick though, that with Pochettino, real quick.
Sure.
Part of his good mood though was based on the fact that they were winning and advancing. Like, how was his attitude after the two losses, the two friendlies, where they got spanked?
I guess I don't.
So Nations League,
he seemed very hopeful still at that point.
Yeah. Okay.
I just think he enjoyed playing.
Your perception is he enjoys these guys
because they appeared to care.
Yeah.
Right. Like he could tell the vibe was better than what he had
Yeah.
previously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. I saw a very relaxed vibe around that team when they came to AT&T.
Okay. Very good. Well, we'll keep everybody posted on that. When we come back, who is on the Mount Rushmore of Dallas-Fort Worth soccer? Next on the Kick-Around. I don't know if I'm breaking news here, but I think Cosm is showing the Club World Cup final tomorrow. I think they got those rights.
Nice.
And so at all, whatever 3 locations they have currently, you're going to be able to get like a pitch side view of the game if you want to try that out.
That game's in the Meadowlands, right? Yeah.
Yes, it is at MetLife. It is where the World Cup final will be held next year.
Okay.
Except on a bigger field. Because
traffic is a nightmare, I've heard.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they have mass transit, Andy.
Yes.
They got trains that stop somewhere close to the stadium.
They do.
If you don't take the other train there. All right. So this was, since we last talked, the sad news that we learned of the passing of Gordon Jago, the great Gordon Jago, who, obviously is renowned for his time as the coach of the Dallas Sidekicks during their amazing days in the indoor league. Was it MISL? The Missile. Yeah.
The
major indoor soccer league.
They went through a few iterations, but yeah.
And when they won the championship and all of that, and he was 92 years old, and he was funny, we were talking about the Men in Blazers appearance. He had actually made an appearance at that show a couple of weeks before his death.
He was active all the way up to his death.
He really?
Yes,
yeah. So do we know? Is it what the cause was, or is just?
I haven't heard the official.
Okay. I didn't know if they said anything officially.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When is
passed away in his sleep though?
When is his funeral?
It hasn't been announced yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, obviously, Andy, you have ties with him because of Dallas Cup and everything, and we've had him on the show numerous times. And I was thinking about this. This is what spurred this conversation, is the idea of, is he the most influential or important figure for the sport of soccer in the history of Dallas-Fort Worth? And that got into a different conversation with Andy and the idea of, well, I think Andy said, well, he's obviously on the Mount Rushmore of DFW soccer.
Yeah.
And that then begs the question, well, who are the other three?
Yeah, well, I think you can't when you talk about who's the most influential, I mean, I just go straight to Lamar Hunt. I mean, look, everything started with Lamar. Like soccer in Dallas, really, at an organized level, started with Lamar, not just because he founded the Tornado, but those players and the coaches he brought to the Tornado basically started youth soccer in this town. So the Tornado were more influential than just, being the professional team in town. Then he was part of the start of MLS. He was one of the founders of MLS as well, which led to the Burn and FC Dallas. He's brought the Hall of Fame. He brought the Hall of Fame here, and
he's the reason why there is still a Dallas MLS team here, because he rescued the Burn.
He did,
from being shut down.
Yeah, exactly. The league. He rescued the league.
Yes. Yes.
The Burn was a byproduct of one of the teams that got saved. But and then what Lamar did too was he wasn't just a soccer guy. He came. He's a legend in the NFL also, right? And so he brought credibility to the sport, because if Lamar Hunt, one of the preeminent owners in the NFL, the guy that coined the Super Bowl, the term Super Bowl, says soccer is important, is cool, and will make it, that adds a lot of credibility to your efforts to get the sport going.
The argument that I was trying to make, and I failed about Gordon Jago's place as a top tier, is just the fact that I remember growing up in Dallas and Gordon being constantly front and center in terms of how the sport was promoted. He had his camps and all that stuff.
So this is where Gordon's role was very important, because the NASL, I think it was 83, 84, the NASL folded, and there was no professional outdoor soccer in Dallas. I mean, there were semi-pro, right? So the Sidekicks, who were part of the indoor soccer league, started, and Gordon Jago was the coach, and then they had a very important player, Tattoo. So you can't talk about important people for the development of soccer in this area if you don't mention Gordon and Tattoo, and they're kind of synonymous. One and the other, they're often mentioned together because the Sidekicks were so successful, but kept soccer alive in this city, in this area, until the MLS started in '96. I would say the Dallas Cup as the preeminent youth tournament, and the Dallas Sidekicks kind of kept the torch alive
100%
in this town, right?
I would agree with you.
And so Gordon Jago, as the coach of that team, was a very public figure, and also his players he coached, are an important part of youth development in this town, because when they retired, when they were players, they went out. Like, this is something that was very important to the Tornado, to Lamar, to Ron Newman, the Gordon Jago of the Tornado, right? Was the players had to get out in the community and spread the gospel. And Gordon kept that same thought alive with his players by making them get out in the community to get the word out about soccer. So that's why he's such an important figure and a legendary figure in this city.
In many ways, you can say you didn't have Gordon without Lamar, because Lamar starting the Tornado and bringing those guys over from overseas is kind of what primed the pump for a Gordon to end up here.
Yeah.
So that's part. So if you're thinking about the four positions of a Mount Rushmore, obviously a Lamar.
So it's four. Okay.
Is it four?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Right.
So there's Lamar, obviously.
Yeah.
Are we going to put Gordon up there?
Yeah, of course.
Yes. All right.
Gordon, but I think you have to put Tattoo up there as well.
That's my third.
Yeah.
Tattoo, yes. I don't know. For people who are not from here or were not around in the Sidekick days, I can't express upon you how big of a deal Tattoo was in this area in those days, in the heydays of the Sidekicks. His whole taking his shirt off bit, all of it was a constant presence.
He was known outside of the soccer community, like.
Yes, he was the Pele of indoor soccer. He is considered to be the best indoor player.
But he was a household name in DFW, even in homes that didn't have anything to do with soccer. They didn't have kids playing 100%, soccer. People knew who Tattoo was. And that's why he's important and he should be up there. Now, if it's only 4 people. Now, Tattoo continues to coach girls soccer, and he's the director of the Sting, right? So what is the significance of the Sting? the Dallas Sting.
The original U.S. women's national team.
Yes. So soccer. DFW has a very vibrant and important girls youth soccer girls.
It's ground zero.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. World. Right. And the gentleman that started the Sting and helped develop girls soccer and women's soccer in this area is Bill Kinder. And so I asked, maybe that's who should be the fourth person.
Wow, that's interesting. I've been debating back and forth who the fourth person is, and man, that's one I hadn't considered, and that's a really good shout. The other one that I put on my list is obviously Ted Eck, because Ted is just such an important.
All right.
I mean, he's just really a crucial personality.
Yes. Move on. Who is for real?
The other one, and again, this is generational, Kyle Rote Jr.
Yeah, that he could certainly, because he also transcended soccer, right?
Yes,
yeah.
and for those again who aren't old enough or not here, Kyle Rote was the American kid who was on the Tornado. He was the best player, and also became famous because then he would go on to the TV show American Superstars, which was essentially an athletic competition amongst athletes of different sports.
And
he won it not once but twice.
Yeah, right.
And so the fact that a soccer player was beating football players, baseball players, basketball players at a variety of athletic events was like a big deal to kids like us back in the day.
That made you want to go play soccer.
And the fact that he played for the Tornado was an even bigger deal.
Ron Newman, I mean, if you're going to bring up Tornado legends.
Sorry, I can't forgive Ron Newman for his Casey Wiz days.
Okay, right, yes, because he got into it with Byrne.
That's right.
And Dave Durr, right? They went at it?
Yes,
yeah, right,
and his son, his Remora-like son, threw a water bottle.
But Ron Newman was really the one that pushed his players to go out in the community and start spreading.
So who's your fourth?
Well, I said I think it's Kinder? Yeah, because I think there's an ode you have to make to the development of the girls and women's side in Dallas. It's very important.
I always wonder how much people who live in this community really appreciate and understand how important Dallas-Fort Worth is to women's soccer in the United States and globally. It really is ground zero for the game in many ways.
Yeah.
And there's a whole history to it. We should do a whole show just on that someday because it's a fascinating story.
The Sting story?
Yeah, the Sting story.
We have in the past, but it's probably time for a refresher.
Yeah, for sure. It's really great stuff. Okay, so I like the Bill Kinder one. That's a great shout.
All right, so
I hadn't thought about that.
Too bad it's only 4 people but that's why it's the Mount Rushmore, right? It's a very selective group. Lamar Hunt.
Someday, maybe we'll add a 5th, and it'll go to one Andrew Dalton Swift.
Yeah, the 5th that crumbled. So we have Lamar, Gordon, Tattoo, and Bill Kinder for different thing, right? No?
No.
You think Tattoo and Gordon is like one? The sidekicks?
Ted Eck is really important.
All right, let's move on.
I mean, come on, Andy. Why would you want to do that to
Well,
Ted?
if you want to talk about Byrne and players, I mean, Jason Kreis is one that comes to mind, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, he was the big first
American,
local star,
First American MLS.
Won the MVP
player.
With the Byrne jersey. Yep.
All right, there we go. All right, we've done the bit. Bits are over. Let's move on to the other bit. It's known as the dribble next on the KickAround. Man, it's so nice to have Andrew back in the KickAround fold. Running a little bit late, so let's get into it. It's time for America's favorite soccer segment known as the dribble. Haven't gotten to do the dribble lately.
You don't do the dribble when I'm gone?
It's not as fun.
Okay.
All right.
Your life is not as fun if I'm not around.
No, absolutely not. I keep trying to tell you this, but you
must lead a very
leaving me. I do. Andy, I think you, like me, align on this issue, which is soccer TV commercials.
Okay.
What's the best soccer TV commercial of all time?
Nike Brazil.
In the airport.
Yes.
Yes, right? Okay.
Are you even? Oh, that was a song.
Yes. Are you aware that Nike has now unleashed 9 new football commercials on the world? Have you seen any of them?
I've seen 1 or 2, I think, on socials, yeah.
Do you recall any details
No.
of them? No.
No.
Okay. You haven't seen the Erling Haaland claymation?
No, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, all right. So it's a theme called Scary Good,
Yeah.
And they're all supposed to be surrounding a particular Nike player.
Oh, maybe I haven't
football
seen it.
player.
Yeah, I might be
You know,
thinking of something else.
Mbappe's in
Okay.
there, Erling Haaland. There's several different women's players.
Okay.
I'm
Oh, okay.
my enthusiasm level is low.
Yeah.
Because why do we love football, soccer commercials? What's the one underlying theme or item about them that we love about them?
I don't know, because they're different ones, so they're not all same thing. Like my second favorite one is the Mean Joe Green, but with Zico and a Brazilian kid. Remember that one, the Coke commercial?
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, my thing is that I always love it that they use it to highlight skills and showing players doing ball skills.
Okay.
Like you think about the airport one with Brazil, or
Yeah.
when they used to the one about Satan, where they all got to
Yeah.
battle against Satan. It was all the biggest name players on the ball, and I love that. And most of these new Nike spots don't feature that in any real substantive way.
A little bit, but not really. I can see what they're trying to be funny too, right?
Yeah, there's a whole Cole Palmer one,
Yeah.
and the Cole Palmer one's funny, but it barely shows off Cole Palmer doing Cole Palmer things on the ball.
Yeah, you might be overthinking things, Peter.
No, I'm not.
I
I'm
have
very.
I have a psychologist that you can see.
I'm a connoisseur of this stuff,
Okay.
sir.
All right.
You love food and fine food dining. I am all about the football
That soccer commercial.
TV commercial.
Okay.
Yes. Lo and behold, everybody steel yourself. The Cosmos are back
Saw that in Jersey.
in Paterson, New Jersey.
So somebody bought the
At
rights that
Hincliffe
were
Stadium.
for sale? The marks?
I don't
as
think
say?
they were for sale. I don't know how this has gone down.
Okay.
Because if you will pay very close attention, in the new version of the classic Cosmos badge, nowhere to be found is the two words New and York. It's just Cosmos.
Yeah, but I think that's still infringement, right?
Well, they're going to use, apparently they will offhandedly refer to themselves as the New York Cosmos, but because they're playing in Hincliffe Stadium in New Paterson, New Jersey,
Where is that?
and they're it's kind of just a little bit further west from MetLife.
Okay,
it's not
got
far
it.
from all of that.
Okay.
It's, it's in the
In Jersey.
suburbs of New
Yeah.
York, of Manhattan.
Sure.
It's a train ride away.
Okay.
They're going to play there. They're going to launch as a USL 1 team. USL 1 is the same league Texoma is playing in up in Sherman, by the way.
So that's third division?
tier.
Third tier.
Yeah,
Got
it goes Premier, it goes MLS,
Yeah.
USL Championship,
Okay.
USL 1.
Got it. And this is where the Cosmos
And
are.
this is where the Cosmos
because they were
play.
playing in the NASL, the new iteration of the NASL, and that league folded.
Right.
Right.
There was something going on with the name and the brand. Maybe somebody bought it. I don't know how this has all happened.
Okay.
I just know that there's a big stink going on that the Cosmos are back, but it's not going to be the same thing.
No. Okay.
No. Have you finished watching Welcome to Wrexham season 4?
I haven't started. I know you want me to, but I will. I'll start. But no, I don't know. There's competition now.
So during this particular season, they repeatedly make noise about Tom Brady's new ownership in their competitor in League One, Birmingham City.
They allude to it.
More than that. Like,
Okay.
he's in it. Like, he
Okay.
makes an appearance at one point
Okay.
in the show. There's also, this is not giving anything away. In the very last episode of the season, Rob Mack, as he likes to be referred to now, gives an amazingly compelling speech on the eve of the game that they need to win.
Gives the team?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He gives a speech, and in the speech, he says, well, what better? I know I shouldn't be the one doing this, so who better than for me to go talk to sports greats to get their advice as to what I should be saying to you? And he proceeds to give this speech, and there are 3 names that are beeped out. And I have come to, and one of them is an NFL great, one is a golf great, and one is a basketball great, because somebody told him that he was told by somebody that somebody told him this phrase.
Okay.
And it's a great speech about go play as a kid, blah, 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 blah. And I contend that the 3 names that he doesn't name are Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, but the key one being is Tom Brady. And I think he called Tom Brady and got this thing started, but they can't say it on Welcome to Wrexham because all the Birmingham fans would lose their minds that their owner was giving a rah-rah speech to Wrexham.
Right, even though they had qualified by then. They had already
gotten through.
Yeah, right.
So that's my conspiracy theory, is that's who the three people are.
Well, look, the part of me is like, what we don't need is another Wrexham, right? Another show like this. But I saw the preview of the Birmingham one.
So I forgot to say this. There is a Birmingham Welcome to Wrexham type show coming out about this last season for Birmingham City with Tom Brady on Amazon Prime about to unleash on the world.
And it looks good.
Yes.
It looks good.
It does look really, because he looks super intense. He looks very Tom Brady, Super Bowl-y intense through it all.
So we'll have to figure out if it's all like, is he being real or is it just a show? Like, my question for you with this last season of Wrexham, you've started it, I'm assuming, right?
I'm finished with. I finished it. Yes.
So is it like? Is it forced again? Like, it felt to me like season one was awesome, real, but
this is really good. They do a good job of doing the connecting pieces with the community and stuff. They don't spend anywhere near as much time on the women's team, who had a really bad season this year, by the way. And they do and it's more about the team itself, and that's really great. They get into the fact that they had to go out and get some guys, and Paul Mullins is down on the other player with the beard ends up sitting at home watching games, and they're really good about getting that. But when they get to the end of the season and it becomes clear they're about to achieve something that had never been achieved before, the way that they tell that story and narrate it and present it is typical. All the stuff that made you fall in love with it to begin with.
All right, I'll give it a watch.
It's worth your time. Yeah, it's definitely better than last season.
And when does Birmingham drop?
I don't know. Okay. I think it's here in the next few weeks or so. So
got it. Be on the lookout for
and it's on Amazon Prime, not Netflix. So it's on a competing streaming platform too. Yeah. So, and that's the thing. Most of those soccer documentaries on Prime like this have been very promotion-y, if that makes sense. Yeah. And don't feel very real. I'm hoping that didn't turn out this way with the Birmingham thing.
August 1st.
August 1st.
Yep.
I had this thought the other day because this news came out that the U.S. Soccer Federation has cut a deal with the soccer tournament, the $7v7 million tournament, to work together to help promote these things.
Yeah, and sell sponsorships.
And I find that really fascinating. The Federation is really picky about formats and rules around those formats.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, and the soccer tournament obviously has some weird quirks to it that very much separates it from traditional soccer, other than just being 7v7.
Yeah.
But here's where I'm driving with this. Along with that relationship and the fact that the U.S. Soccer Federation is interested in helping promote and sell it and make it a bigger thing, along with the growth of the Kings League and the Queens League over in Europe, the Baller League over in England, which are all of these small-sided tournaments with famous people, former players. They're all easy. The barrier to entry for watching these things is super. I'm just wondering if that's some sort of future that we're looking at in the way that younger generations consume sports and
that's not a bad thought.
All that stuff.
Yeah, right, because younger generations are consuming all sports and
in
lower
snippets.
Yeah, right, exactly. The USSF, by the way, and their involvement with the 7v7, there is an initiative to do more in the community, to get more involved in a grassroots way, diversity, all that. So maybe that's just part of that initiative. But you're right. Maybe it's the way that you start connecting with the younger demographic, which maybe they're losing that connection.
I'm sure they do all kinds of research that tells them Gen Beta and Gen Alpha like shorter periods of time and highlights, and there's they want to see their TV stars in their soccer teams.
Did you watch the final, by the way,
of the soccer tournament?
Yeah,
I think I did. Yes.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, well,
because they started eliminating players.
Yes.
And
the whole target time thing, I find an utterly fascinating gimmick.
Yeah.
I love it. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
Gimmick, like the Club World Cup. Fun.
Sure.
Good fun.
Yeah. for
Right?
Sure, I suppose. All
Like
right.
some people are knocking, this and that about the Club World Cup, but it's, no less gimmicky, or this is gimmicky and people still like it, right?
Andy, has it struck you that at this point in 1 year's time, you and myself, and I'm assuming Lars, will be eyeballs deep in World Cup?
It's the date today, the 12th of
Today's
July.
the 12th of July.
Be close to the finals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That, like, next weekend would be the finals?
I
Something
think
like
that's
that?
right, yeah.
Man.
How do you feel about that? It's your favorite thing in the world. You
Yeah.
love the World Cup
Yeah.
more than I love the World Cup times 10. That's how much you love
It's
the
my
World
jam.
Cup. It is.
I like the World Cup for sure. Know a little
1
bit
year
about
from
it.
now, we will be up to here in the World Cup.
Yeah.
Can you stand it?
It's a year away, man. I'm excited.
You've got a big year ahead of you, sir.
You get a live
Yeah.
broadcast of the kick-around from the stadiums.
I don't know who this is, this disembodied voice that just magically appeared on the radio show.
I don't know if we have the rights for that. I don't even know if we have the rights where
Yeah,
we
we're
can
waiting-
say World Cup. We'll have to say
Yeah.
the big event.
I know Cumulus cut a deal with U.S. Soccer, so I don't know if that gives us
Oh,
some
yeah.
sort of permission
to say World Cup.
to
Or
use
FIFA
the
World
phrase
Cup.
World Cup.
You
Yes.
have to say FIFA World Cup.
Oh,
yeah.
FIFA World Cup.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that'll do it for another episode of The Dribble, and that will bring us to the close of another episode of The Kick Around. All right, my buddy Andy, it's great to have you back. Are you glad to be back?
Yes, I
You-
saw you pointing. I was like, what is going on with Peter? Is he having a heart attack? But yes, good to be back. Thank you for having me. Thank
will
you for
you be
taking
back
me
next
back.
week?
I will. We'll take it 1 week at a time, but no, yes.
All right, very
back.
good. Thank you to Mr. Dixon for tickers. Thank you to Mel for producing. And thank you to EA for running the board so fine. P1s, we love and adore you. Get stuck in. Win your 50s.